Hi, this is Scott Sackett. This is my latest sketchbook that I finished, and I thought I would record a video, kind of go through it. This sketchbook is what I refer to as my small sketchbook. It's about the size of a paperback book. It was a fairly inexpensive sketchbook. You can see it's spiral bound. I picked this up at Barnes& and Noble. I believe the brand is called Piccadilly. Oh, and it was I don't know, $4 or $5, $6 maybe. But it's a nice size. It's easy to carry around. With the spiral, you can fold it over and work on it. And okay, I'll start going through here. Just a picture of my wife and I in New York City. Okay, it's just a page, practice pages, some heads, um, some torso, some anatomy work, some more anatomy work. This is a picture of my friend that I drew, my friend Eric that I drew in pencil. Some more figure work. Some more figure work. This was probably done maybe this summer. Some characters. Some more figure work. And Batman. Um, this is an apartment that I drew from my mind. It's basically kind of based on an old efficiency apartment my brother lived in years ago. Just kind of my memories of what it looked like. He never had a drawing table there, but if I lived there, there'd be a drawing table. Some characters. Um, I took a class through comics experience, and so there's some notes and stuff in there. Some characters. Some portraits. This is C.B. Cebulski, who works at Marvel Comics. He was their talent coordinator for a long time. This is a bad picture of Keanu Reeves. This is a picture of Prince that I drew after he passed away. I'm not a great portrait artist, but I think it's good practice to draw portraits. Some more characters you can see, just practicing, just figures, a bunch of poses, trying to nail that proportion down. This was some sketches I did for a Robin sample that I entered in the DC Comics talent search that they had this summer. Um, there's some notes from class. Like I said, I took a comics experience class. Um, some figure work. Probably glare on that page. Again, more figure. That's one of the things we did in class was worked on figures, just trying to develop that mannequin. More trying to get the forearm muscles. Just more. There's a drawing of Bruce Lee. Not a very good one. That's my friend Ellis. We were at the library one day and he was drawing, and so I drew him. There's some notes from class. A character, I don't know if it's Catwoman, a character in a cat mask. A woman, it could be a Catwoman, I guess. Um, I have a book that's got a picture of a kind of a little Japanese restaurant bar thing. This is kind of taken from my memory of that picture. There weren't any figures in there, but I don't know. I just wanted to draw an environment. Again, this was drawn in downtown Oklahoma City. I was hanging out with Ellis, and I drew this ink drawing, kind of a rough sketch. I needed to draw a figure with a bow for some reason, so I was kind of working on bows, characters or figures. There's a Wolverine. More characters. There's a Joker, a woman, and a Batman. So I'm trying to stay out of my own light. There, it's a little better. This was a just something I drew from my imagination, just kind of an airport kind of feeling thing that I just drawn. Some anatomy stuff, more anatomy notes, drawing the torso. I don't know what this is. Oh, notes from class. That's what that is. Again, trying to get that stretch in the figure. Doing a little cross hatching. Doing some ink. It's always good to draw in ink if you can. It helps you draw the right line the first time. Some more figures. I drew this at a drink and draw at Planet Comic Con in Kansas City. That's my friend DL that I do the podcast Better Than Fiction with and Classic Cinema podcast. This was done earlier in the spring. This is I'm not sure what kind of pen. This is a pen with a little bit of Copic, 2-color gray Copic to kind of make it pop a little bit. There's some figures, some notes on head construction. A character, Ignatius Riley from Confederacy of Dunces. Just more figures. Sorry, these are sideways. Most of this book I drew sideways. I'm not sure. Some kind of a half attempt. Kind of a bad Captain America. My wife and I. Oh no, I'm sorry, not my wife and I. I was at the doctor's office and I drew this while I was waiting. This sketchbook is good to carry. This size is good to carry with you and draw when you're waiting. There's some figures. More figures. Kind of a night crawler. Nope. I forget the actress. Some 60s actress. I was at a convention in the hotel lobby. I drew the lobby. Again, it's a straight pen drawing. It's good practice. More straight pen figures. I think I was drawing, maybe traveling. I drew that. I think it's half finished. There's a Cyclops. I drew with a destroyed Sentinel in the background. Little lean, even for Cyclops. My wife and I went to a resort, and while we were waiting for breakfast, I drew the breakfast buffet. Just some doodles. Little Akira. I'm a big fan of Akira. I don't know where we were here. Eating somewhere, obviously, is a trash can. Oh, Cyclops telling some commies to eat it. More figures. That's a doctor's office, waiting room. Figures. More figures. More figures. Notes from a drawing book. Talked about the eye notch. My friend Ellis again. A little bit cross hatching and some pencil shading. Figures. Again, waiting. You can tell it's a doctor's office from all the stuff that I drew. Oklahoma City downtown. There's a bombing memorial. One day I went down there and I was sitting by the sidewalk drawing on a bench. This is taking a little bit of shading from the drawing across it, but it's a Leadership Square in downtown Oklahoma City. More figures, obviously Star Wars inspired. Figures. Some sort of science fiction thing. Oh, notes for my podcast. I do a series of drawings I call the Secret X-Men, and I just make up X-Men figures. Who's kind of a porcupine guy. More characters. More X-Men. Little bit of a big head on that Colossus. Characters. I think my wife and I were at a restaurant when I drew this. I don't recognize that, but I know I drew that from life. This is downtown Oklahoma City again. There's an area of town called Automobile Alley. That's the tallest building in Oklahoma, the Devon building. There's an automobile alley looking the other way. You can see there's a sign for Buick on that building. This is a building called The Womb. It's owned by Wayne Cohen, the lead singer of the Flaming Lips. He lives in Oklahoma City, and he bought this old building. It's all this is designed on the psychedelic designs, all these different colors. So it's kind of a crazy looking building. That's the bombing memorial. More people. That's my friend Eric right there. That's Professor Longhair, if you're familiar, if you're a fan of New Orleans jazz. More figures. Characters. Here's some thumbnails I did for a comic that I drew for Grey Haven Comics. We went on a road trip to Amarillo, and I drew this well, not while I was driving. Somebody else was driving. My wife was driving. We went and saw the play Texas, or the musical Texas, and I drew this while we were waiting for it to start. There's kind of a waiting area outside. And I drew this one way, and then I went the other side and drew this. There's some teenage kids talking. You can see it was down in a canyon. I drew this. This was our hotel room the morning before we left. You can see my wife is sitting there writing an email or something. Just some creatures. Half-started drawing of something. I don't know what it is. Oh, coming back home on the road. If you don't live in Oklahoma and you've never been out here, this is kind of what it looks like riding on the highway in Oklahoma. Some figures. Little Batman versus Superman. That's a jacked up leg. A little more. More characters. More characters. Little stiff character there. Just more people. This is at a restaurant in Oklahoma City called the Golden Phoenix. We've gone there a couple times. One time I went there and the waiter saw my drawing and really liked it, so I gave it to him. This is not the one I gave to him. I think that was an ink drawing. More figures. I went to the zoo and drew animals one day. And so we'll see a couple animals. I should have labeled them. I don't know what these are. Cats of some kind. Notes. Some kind of notes. Oops, blank page. Cat. Gorilla. Gorilla. Sorry about that. A gorilla. Prone. Elephant. The elephant place in Oklahoma City, the elephant, I don't know what you call it. Pen, cage. You kind of look down on them, so it's kind of hard to do a good drawing. Okay, I started doing some watercolor in my sketchbook. Again, this is Automobile Alley. My wife works downtown, so I spend a lot of time walking around downtown drawing stuff. Oh, a sushi place. I don't think this has ever opened. They've been working it for a while, but I love their sign. The bombing memorial downtown again. This is a place called Leadership Square. It's a big open area, kind of a food court in the bottom of a building. It's all glass, and there was a group of some kind of private school kids meeting there. Since then I've seen them more and more times. It's the crow, bad drawing of the crow. Figures, a car, some cars. I was drawing a parking lot. I was sitting in a double-decker bus. We went to New York Comic Con. I took this and I drew on the plane. It's two different legs. You can see I'm sitting on the aisle here. I got the center seat here. This will all be New York drawings for a little bit here. Something I was working on, and my wife was shopping, so I stood on the sidewalk and drew, and she came out, and so had to go. We ate breakfast at this place by our hotel a couple times. I don't know what this was. Didn't get finished though. Shoe store didn't get finished. I was waiting on my wife. This was a panel during the con. I don't think it was the Marvel panel. That was the guy operating the sound booth at the con. For this, I used a blue pen, and then I had a blue marker that I used to kind of do some of the shading on. We were getting food one time, and the waitress surprised me. We brought our food. One morning I was early, so I went to Times Square and drew. I think I used a brush pen on part of this. Went to supper one night. Again, another. We had to leave. There was an emergency. We had to leave. That's my friend Dave again. While we were eating, again they brought our food too early. It's that same breakfast place. We sat at a different table this time. We went to the Natural History Museum. And I drew some stuff. That's a grizzly. That's the big famous. I forget it's called the Hall of Aquatic Animals or something like that. But it's got the whale from the ceiling. So I drew that. It took me a while to draw that. It's the Hall of North American Indians. One of my favorite halls. It's really cool. I've never really done it justice, I don't think, but it's got a big totem poles in it and just all kinds of neat stuff in that hall. I think this had something to do with Mexico because this was all tile. You can't really tell it in my thing. There's some sort of big Mexican statue right there, or maybe South America. I believe there's a Hall of Indian Animals. With some Indian elephants. Now there's a Hall of African Animals, African elephants. I didn't draw that. A place called Pappardella, Italian place in New York City we always like to go to. I think this says the Flame. Again, another restaurant in New York City. This is my wife waiting on a plane. Just some other people waiting on a plane. Character on the plane on the way home. Apparently we're home. Here's some more X-Men drawings. Went on a work trip down to Dallas, couple hour drive. I didn't drive, their guy drove. I did some drawing. The roads in Oklahoma are kind of rough, so it's hard to draw on the road. What is this? This is... Oh, I know. We're waiting for at a pizza place. To the lobby. Different pizza place. I'm meeting my brother. Waiting for him. A place called Papa Angelo's. Some of the best pizza in Oklahoma City. Characters, figures. This is the last drawing in this. The other night we went to a Thunder game and I did a drawing at the arena. I think there's one more page. When you get down to one page, it's hard to justify carrying a sketchbook to draw one page. Anyway, that's my sketchbook. Like I said, I refer to this as my small sketchbook. It's about hand size, a little bit easier to carry around. I've got a bigger one, it's 8.5 by 11 that I carry around. I kind of use those two concurrently. It just kind of depends on what I'm doing and where I'm going. Anyway, I hope you dug my sketchbook. If you like my art, you want to see some more of my art, you can check out my website at scottsackett.org. That's SCOTTSACKETT.org. You can also listen to my podcast on pop culture called Better Than Fiction. We review movies, we review comics, we talk about books, we talk about all kinds of stuff. I also do a movie podcast called Classic Cinema Podcast where we take turns, there's 4 of us, we take turns, we pick a movie that was done pre-Jaws, pre-Summer Blockbuster basically. We will talk about it, then we watch it, and then afterwards we talk about it again. It's kind of a fun little podcast. We've done the original King Kong, we've done Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3, we've done The Creature from the Black Lagoon. If you like older movies, a lot of them tend to be genre movies. If you like that kind of thing, then check it out. It's called Classic Cinema Podcast. Both that and Better Than Fiction are available on iTunes. Thank you for your time. You all have a good evening.